Hey everyone, Brandon here. Welcome back to another video. You ever feel like you're just drowning in ads? Seriously, some figures suggest that we might be seeing anywhere from 6 to 10,000 ads every single day, assuming you don't have a pop-up blocker or an ad blocker of some sort. It's a lot, right? And in that constant stream of stuff, you've only got seconds, maybe even less, to actually make someone look up. With attention spans supposedly shrinking to around 8 seconds, what's the go-to move for many of us marketers? More? More flash? More noise? More text? Just more? But what if piling on it isn't just failing to grab your attention, but it's actively pushing people away, causing sensory overload of sorts? Well, in this video, we're going to get into some really common issues in the ad world, that sense of sensory overload. Now, it's the belief that to get noticed online, your ads have to be supercharged, kind of like a Vegas billboard, blinding, screaming, tons of messaging that's crammed into one tiny little spot just to catch your attention for a few seconds. But if you're a marketer, a business owner, or even a creator, you probably think you're making something super engaging, something impossible to miss. But here's what the tough pill to swallow really is about that. You might be doing the exact opposite. Instead of just pulling your viewers in, making it a seamless, transparent, smooth process in your advertising, you could be making them tired, annoyed, hurting their head, essentially, with sensory, just splashing them, hurting not only how your ad works, but what people think about your brand as an overall system. And today in this video, I'm going to unpack how this all-in sensory attack is actually harming your audience and your wallet. And more importantly, I'm going to look at how to cut through the noise and start making ads that people are actually going to want to see. Something smooth, something simple. Keep it simple. That's the theme, overarching theme of what we're going to go into. So, why do so many ads feel like a 5-set alarm fire drill or a fireworks show, or insert another blindingly loud and annoying thing? Usually it's not going to be because marketers are trying to be annoying, but instead it often comes from this understandable place of anxiety that they're trying to get your attention in that short span. Competition is fierce, and there's this pressure as a small-time creator to get noticed and fast. So the thinking goes, hey, if I throw enough stuff at your screen, something's going to stick. You're going to look at me. Look at me. Yeah? This more idea is very tempting, and it has gotten a lot of steam, but it feels like you're doing something, but it's not. You're covering all the bases. You're creating something catchy, a voiceover maybe, tons of images showing off different features of your product or service, and then you have a text popping up with a call to action, maybe a button of some sort. It flashes, the banners, all around. It kind of seems logical that you would give people a ton of information and try to outpace the competitors with this overload of sensory feasting. They'll be more engaged to remember your ad, maybe. That's the overall idea of it. There's this notion that having everything jam-packed in such a way, it's going to scream value to your customers. But at the end of the day, it's just too much. Plus, let's be real about it. We live in a time where marketers are super distracted and people are super distracted. One study points out that almost 90% of US workers get distracted at least once a day. It's not a big jump to see how that distracted way of creating could lead into pretty much chucking everything at the wall and seeing what sticks, hoping that it lands. But this urge to be seen and heard, mixed with the bit of misunderstanding around how our brains actually process information in either sequential or multi-factored, has led to a plague of marketers overloading ads and creating a cycle that drives your brand to be feared more than loved. And the problem's worse every single day as more and more people get into the space. So why is it so tiring? Let's talk about what really happens when someone sees the ad that's just chaotic mess. This little screen of images, sounds, and text. And the spoiler about it, it's not good. And it's definitely not effective. Our brains are amazing. but they only can handle so much information at once. This is what's often called a cognitive load. When an ad blasts multiple senses at the same time and conflicting senses with a bunch of different information overall, it seriously ramps up on that cognitive load and causes a shutdown. So think about it. If an ad that you see three, let's just give you an example, three fast moving images, one plays music with lyrics, one has a voiceover about benefits, and one has list of animations, an animation list. Your brain doesn't have enough time to adjust. Your brain just doesn't know where to look, what to listen to, that too many receptors being triggered at once, and each of the elements interfere with each other. Hearing something distracting can mess with what you're seeing and vice versa. It's not a team effort, it's a sensory traffic jam right into the viewer's head. Picture yourself as somebody who's listening to dubstep at the same time that they're trying to learn something new. It's the conflict of music to the purpose of the content creates a distraction and a headache in the viewer. And with that comes viewer fatigue. So instead of feeling interested, people feel overwhelmed. Maybe it becomes a sense of stress or annoyance. They click away from things. Your brain, as a viewer, is working overtime trying to sort through this chaos, and when it's too much, the natural thing is to shut down and check out. Scrolling, clicking away, mentally tuning you out, muting you. Each of these are made worse when we have an average of just 47 seconds on the screen before your focus shifts. An ad demands a lot of mental load, percentage-wise, proportionately, when you're competing against all these other things. So those are what the overload is itself, right? So moving into the side effects on how this overload wrecks your brand and your message from a marketer's perspective. So the fallout from sensory overload to your users, it goes beyond for your brand. So I know that wasn't a very clear statement. So let me back up a second. First off, your message gets diluted. It basically disappears to the user. When an ad tries to yell 5 things at once at you, the viewer is going to have this shutdown moment. And it often ends up saying to that user, nothing. The core thing that you desperately need your audience to remember is going to be drowned out. It's like trying to hear one person talking in a massive shouting crowd. You're trying to focus on that one person, but even if that someone wants to understand, as they're trying to pick through all the different inputs, the sheer volume of stuff that's essentially fighting all around them in the ad itself is going to make it impossible. Secondly, people remember and understand way less because of all those things. Your phrase, your overall message, your goal is not going to resonate with the user in the same impact at the same percentage if they're getting hit. Let's say 5% goes to the sound's off, starts to shut down, so they don't hear the message that says click now, subscribe now, purchase my product, or all the benefits, the values of it. And then you have the brand colors with the flashing lights or anything that triggers in the brain a bad color, or neon pink is a good example of a bad color when trying to do flashing lights, because it just hits that ocular nerve at such a way that just doesn't keep you interested. Instead, it gives you piercing temple issues. And then the last one, the sensory overload consistently without a pivot in any direction towards consistency with the brand, the message, the overall goal, it's going to make your brand look bad, and it's going to create kind of a Pavlov reaction where the user is going to see your ad and instantaneously know it's yours, but all for the wrong reasons. Where when you see an ad from, or let's say your thumbnails, an example, a thumbnail, or even an ad to a place that you actually subscribe to. You recognize the brand colors, you recognize the theme, overarching theme for all of it. And if I, as the subscriber to that thing, enjoyed it, then I'm more likely to click on it. I'm more likely to follow through. Well, the exact opposite happens when you have a sensory overload to your viewer, where your viewer is going to see that thumbnail, automatically associate the bad headache to you, and then they're going to run away. So all of this means to you as an advertiser, as a marketer, that you're going to be wasting ad money if your message isn't getting through, and your audience, people are going to just end up skipping your ads. They're going to end up going over it, like I said. So how do we break free from this sensory overload madness, and how do we start making ads that actually resonate with your audience? The answer was pretty simple. Change your way of thinking in relation to the audience. You are the business owner. Put yourself in the shoes of the recipient. If you are viewing your own ads and you're thinking, my God, there is so much hitting me at once. I don't need that there. I don't want that there. That hurts. I can't watch this for more than 15 seconds. All these things as a generic user are telling you, as a business owner, restructure it. Pivot away from it. Think about embracing a simple design and sound. Keep it in rules of 3. Now, example of a rule of 3, and it can be a rule of 4, it can be a rule of 5. It will all depend on your brand, the simplicity of your product or service, what you're trying to get across, etc. But a rule of 3 is 1 moving visual, 1 static visual, 1 sound. And then if you want to add to the 4, it's 1 clear call to action. And if you want to go up to 5, it's 1 transitionary system, all in an ad. So if you overload that with conflicting of any of those, it's going to cause sensory overload. You add 2 conflicting animations. This is an example. 2 conflicting animations onto an ad. I'm trying to think of a good example. So you add a steam animation in addition to a wave rolling animation. They naturally conflict based on direction. That view is going to disrupt me as the viewer's brain when watching your advertisement. Another example, conflicting, not in the animations, but in 2 very distinct sounds. Let's say fire crackling, but there's nothing on the screen moving that would indicate fire crackling. It's a distraction. It doesn't help your viewer get the message or get some sort of foundation of what your ad is trying to do. And so they're not going to like it. If you, now a good thing here to give you an example of a message that all aligns perfectly. If you have, let's say for the fire animation, we have a fire animation, we have fire crackling sounds, and we have a call to action buying discounted firewood. Let's say your audience is people that are in the market for buying firewood. All of these things in your ad are not conflicting. They're all parallel to each other into the purpose of selling you the firewood. It resonates with your audience. There's lack of distraction, and even if there's too much sound or too much visual, it's not conflicting with the user because the intent, the audience, the product and service, all of that aligns directly into the path of, this is my product, this is what I want, this is what my brand does. All right, so now that I've gone through the examples, now it's your turn. What's the most overloaded, sensory tacking ad that you have seen in the past 6 weeks? I know you've seen them on YouTube. I know you've seen them on Facebook. What is the most obnoxious ads that you've seen? Describe them below. How did they make you feel? I want you to drop your experiences, and I want you to drop maybe potentially a link to those ads. Let's see how many people have found some terrible ads. And if you found this video educational and you're ready to make your marketing more effective and viewer friendly, please consider giving me a subscribe, share with your friends. If you didn't like my opinion or disagree with my opinion, post it down below. Let's have a discussion about it. And yeah, I think I'm done. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.